So downtown Mexico City is currently going through a bit of a cultural revival right now. The whole place is absolutely buzzing, and in this video I kind of wanted to give you a feel for the most important historic sites, as well as a couple of great options for nightlife and dining. So if you're into ancient Aztec temples, hip bars, raucous cantinas, or elegant classic restaurants, there's going to be something for you in this video, so don't go away. So I'm here in La Opera, which is a bit of an institution in downtown Mexico City. From 1876 right through to the 1980s, this was one of Mexico City's most ornate cantinas. Since then it's been converted into more of a family-friendly kind of bar and restaurant, but it still retains all the original architecture, from the plush red velvet seats to the ornate copper ceiling. The food's really, really good. It's got a kind of European touch. I've been served some delicious caracoles panteoneros, or snails, and some Galician octopus. And one of the best things about this place is you can still see the bullet hole in the ceiling that was made by Pancho Villa, the Mexican revolutionary. So make sure to ask the waiter to point it out to you, although it's quite obvious, and it's a really good photo opportunity. So for a truly off the beaten track alternative, if you happen to be in downtown Mexico City, if it's a rainy day, you don't know what else to be doing, why not come along to the Borsig Shoe Museum? It's free in, and you'll find the evolution of the shoe from the 1st century right through to modern times, which I actually have to admit I find quite interesting because I've never seen a shoe from the 1st century. You'll also find the likes of Neil Armstrong's moon boots when he was on the Apollo 11 mission. You'll find Queen Elizabeth II shoes. So a bit of a random off the beaten track. You won't find it in any of the tour guides, but I still think it's a really good option if you're traveling and you have a spare half hour and you happen to be in downtown Mexico City. So if you happen to be in the Zócalo, the Cathedral, the Templo Mayor, you only need half an hour to pop over to the Palacio Nacional, and here you're going to find 9 frescoes by Diego Rivera that show the history of Mexican civilization from the arrival of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, right through to post-revolutionary Mexico. And a little tip, see if you can spot Frida Kahlo in one of the frescoes. El Cardinal in downtown Mexico City might just be the finest place in the whole city to come and have a traditional meal. It's really well known for its breakfast with their frothy hot chocolate that's whisked by hand. And their biggest reputation, I suppose, comes from the fact that they've kind of rescued old provincial style cooking, lost recipes. You'll find all sorts of really traditional Mexican dishes here. There's things here I haven't tried yet in my time in Mexico that I've really wanted to try, such as escamoles, or ant eggs. So I'm going to give it a little go here. For you guys. Let's see. You'll find all sorts of politicians, artists, lots of famous kind of people here, so it's really well known. Let's go. Okay. If you don't think about the fact that you're eating ant eggs, they're actually quite good. They're kind of crispy, crunchy, with a bit of a buttery taste. So you may as well try them at least once while you're here in Mexico. But for escamoles or any other kind of traditional dish, I really recommend that you come to El Cardinal, where the food is excellent and the service is even better. Wow, so just check out this architecture behind me. I'm here today in the Palacio de Bellas Artes, or the Palace of Fine Arts to you and I. And what's really interesting about this splendid building in the heart of downtown Mexico City is that it houses 2 museums, the Museum of Fine Arts and the Museum of Architecture. And speaking of architecture, that's one of the most fascinating things about this building. The construction of the building started in 1904 and it wasn't finished until 1934. Now, it's not that it took them 30 whole years to build the Palacio. What happened was the Mexican Revolution took place during 20 years and they had to stop construction. And what's really interesting is that during those 20 years, styles changed in the outside world. So what you'll see when you arrive here is that on the outside of the building, you'll see neoclassical and Art Nouveau architecture. And once you come inside, you'll see that they finished it in Art Deco. And for anyone with a very keen eye, make sure you look out because you'll find various pre-Hispanic motifs finished in an Art Deco style. I'm not sure where else you'll see that in the world. And one of the other really interesting things about the place is that it has murals done by some of Mexico's most famous muralists, including Siqueiros, Rivera, Tamayo. So make sure you bring your camera. So inside the Palacio de Bellas Artes, you'll also find the Opera House, which hosts all sorts of performances throughout the year, from the folklore ballet to symphonic orchestra. So make sure to check out their calendar of events to find out what's happening while you're here. And one of the most stunning things about this theatre is what you can see behind me, their curtain, which is actually a folding panel made out of almost 1 million pieces of iridescent stained glass. And it's made by none other than Tiffany's in New York. And if you look behind me, you'll see that it shows the Tuval volcanoes, Popocatépetl and Iztaccíhuatl, which are the exact volcanoes I saw in the distance while I was coming into land in Mexico City. So it's worth a visit even just to see that curtain. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I really hope you've enjoyed my compilation of some of the best sites in the historic centre. And I would say to any tourist coming to Mexico City, you cannot miss downtown Mexico City. And for anyone coming for a longer time, I'm sure it's going to be on your itinerary. But for people who maybe just have one day in the city and they're not sure what to see, I think downtown is the most representative area that you could visit in a short space of time, because you have the Aztec ruins, you can visit an ancient pyramid right next door to colonial style buildings, you can go to a cantina, have a traditional Mexican meal. And the great thing about downtown is it's not just a kind of tourist destination. People really do live here. Where I am right now, the Alameda Central, is this fabulous massive park also in downtown where people come and have a break on their lunch break. You can rest your feet here if you're tired from wandering about, and it's great just to see people bustling around, getting on with their daily lives. I think you get a real feel for what Mexico City is really about. So I would say definitely anybody coming, do not miss downtown, and make sure to follow me. I'll put all the details of all the places I visited, so if you want to visit them you can, and keep following me for all the rest of the videos that are to come.